Welcome to a new season of the Untold Stories. Remember, if you are listening to the right stories, then you are listening to the Untold Stories. Before we start the first episode of season 2, I want to have a look around yourself. Look at the things around you. The fans, the air conditioners, the table, the chair, the walls, the ceiling, your phone, your headphone, the charger, electricity, or anything that you are able to see. All these things were just a thought in someone's mind. A thought which they didn't change just because it was illogical to the world. These thoughts became so profound that they started dreaming about them, and eventually it turned into their dream. A dream for which they were ready to do anything and everything. That dream eventually turned into a purpose that became greater than their lives. For a minute, just go back and find a renunciate sitting under a bodhi tree, forsaking his kingdom and all the luxury of his life, which very fortunate people get. What were his chances of bringing a new consciousness, a new religion to the world? But didn't he find something that is Buddhism today? For a minute, just go back and find an ordinary barrister who returned from South Africa and he started doing satyagraha using his principles of non-violence. What were his chances of becoming successful in making the nation free? But didn't he become successful and turned out to be known as the father of the nation? At a time when everything was becoming so expensive, didn't one man in the contemporary recent past believe that a car can be made for 1 lakh rupees, and didn't he re-engineer the whole process and came and gave something which was a breakthrough of its own right? Didn't he? Every legendary accomplishment in the world began with a beginning where the size of the goal, the size of the cause, the size of the purpose was illogically too large to the individual who began in the direction. Whether it was Gandhi, whether it was Ambani, Gautam Buddha, Martin Luther King, Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Nelson Mandela, or anyone else for that matter. If they only thought that it cannot be done, it is impossible, not possible. If they only took stock of why it cannot be done, nothing would have happened, nothing. But they all did something very different. They went as far as they could see, and when they went there, they saw further. I don't care how many people say it is not possible, but there is a whisper within me which is very loud and it says it is possible. And I want to believe that whisper, and I don't want to listen to the noise of the world. I know I cannot do it without you, but with you it is possible. I know you cannot do it without me, but with me it is possible. Together it is possible. Don't listen to what they have to say. I was right when I said in the first episode, come, let's go the other way. I believe it is possible. I think it is better to chase a purpose larger than yourself and reach where you can reach than to chase a goal well within your grasp. I think let's challenge ourselves. Let's chase this purpose. You and I together in our own rights by actualizing and maximizing our potential and ensuring we give to the world a lot more than what we receive from the world. In every way of life, we can create a world of abundance, and that will be a new world. Let's begin this season of the Untold Story with this thought. Directly and indirectly, let's touch as many lives as possible and allow it to grow in geometric progression. And with an average lifespan of at least 40 years left, what is beyond a human being? And I really think a lot is possible. I want you to believe with me. I want you to work on yourself along with me. I really want you to give it a shot. I have always been fascinated with bees for the fact that they could do the impossible. They can fly. In Richard Branson's book, The Virgin Way, he tells a brilliant little story about the bumblebee. For decades, scientists have been confused by the bumblebee. When you take into account the size of the body compared to the size of the wingspan, the bumblebee on all accounts should not be able to fly. It is a scientific impossibility. Then Branson goes on to say that up until this very day, not one scientist has ever been able to explain that to a bumblebee. And since the bumblebee cannot listen to the scientist, they are still able to fly. They are doing what is impossible. Don't listen to people who use the word impossible. They live a shallow life and will never reap the awards of amazing breakthrough, innovating new ideas and groundbreaking discoveries. Into the future, we march into the crazy unknown. Anything you try for the first time is going to be hard. Don't let that discourage you. Nothing always happens the way it is supposed to. Your plan is going to fail at that point in life. Things are going to change. Don't focus on building a bulletproof plan, yet have a big end goal and be very flexible in how you are going to get there. Don't be surprised when things go wrong. Instead, use change as an advantage. To be safe, don't assume you deserve anything. Give more, care more, and don't expect anything in return. Giving is a much better feeling than receiving anyway. Live a life of giving and never try to determine what you deserve from that giving. You will get yours in due time. Become like a bumblebee and do the impossible. Fly and reach your dream, whatever it is. Remember your dreams and fight for them. You must know what you want from life. There is just one thing that makes your dream become impossible, and that is the fear of failure. Virtually nothing is impossible in this world if you just put your mind to it and maintain a positive attitude. Remember, if you are listening to the right stories, then you are listening to the untold stories. And if this episode has matched your wavelength, then share it with people who need it. And just in case you have the time, then you must listen to my previous episode, One Who Dispels the Darkness, where I paid tribute to our real heroes, our teachers and mentors, and talked about how they shape us and our lives. That's all from this episode. Remember friends, you too have untold stories to tell which can make a difference in someone's life, because certain untold stories are born out of certain lives and certain lives are born out of certain untold stories.